Welcome to the Just Josh podcast.
Who the fuck is this guy? Hey, who the fuck are you? Huh? Who the fuck are you?
This whole thing's a little weird.
Never yet fear, laddie pop.
We were able to negotiate terms, and here I am on your casting couch.
Yeah.
I see that you rolled it. You got all the hair off. You made it nice and cozy for me. I appreciate that.
Part of the deal was that if Neal was going to come on, that he had to be part of my casting couch later, which is a whole separate thing from the podcast.
Yeah, that's a bonus that you get. You got to become a member. You know,
That's how I make my money.
yeah.
So before this, we Googled. I don't know if people have Googled you before, or Googled themselves, I should say, before. But we did it just to pull up. I always like to have some pictures ready, at least that I can click on and then pull up if need be. But because this was very spur of the moment. Usually we have topics or other things, or I do at least a little advance. Half the time the guests don't even look at it, but I do it just to be good on my side. So, but this is very spur of the moment to a degree and very relaxed. I've been trying to have a couple of those recently where it's people are more able to speak from the mind, less the script, you know. But we Googled it, and the first thing that pops up is your last name. Rad-Pop Records just makes sense, and you own that, and you're a big part. I mean, you are a big part of the Great Heights band. But then it says Rick Beto.
Yeah. I mean, that was like 4 bass players ago, I think.
That was
just joshing with you.
Yeah, huh.
See what I did?
Mm-hmm. I'm changing the name of the podcast now just because you cracked that joke on my podcast. I said if I ever, because even when I did this, I was like, man, you know how many people are going to be like, oh, I'm just joshing you on the Just Josh podcast.
Has anyone done that yet?
No, you're the first, but
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
that says a lot, though. It says a lot about the type of person you are.
There you go. It's a good thing you didn't send me in advance. I definitely would not have read it. I would have come.
Yeah.
I would have gotten here. I would have been like, "Oh crap! I got to figure out how to get into his studio again," which I did.
I
So
know.
I had
He
pulled
kind of
up
just
the-
walked in.
And then I would have been like, "Oh shit! He sent me in advance." And then I would have been like 10 more minutes later than I already am because I would have then read the advance.
You did bring me a Red Bull, which I appreciate. It's the first one I've had in like forever.
You're very welcome. They had it was 2 for $4, so I got myself.
Oh,
one
so
as
I
well.
helped you. So I kind of helped you out.
Yeah, you did. I also haven't had one in a very long time, and man, this shit gets you wired. You've already finished yours.
Dude, I was listen. I was lucky because there were points when I was passing out before you came, because I knew you were doing work stuff earlier. So Neal's time was kind of like a Comcast visit. It's like we'll be there anytime between 12 p.m. and 9 p.m.
Yeah, basically.
Like 12 noon and 9 p.m.
yeah.
But
Except
no, I purposely left the day open for Neal to come in whenever, and usually I do these at night, so it's actually kind of nice that we did it early. Neal is the Comcast of guests.
hopefully you're happy with the service when I'm done.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, I already know the podcast is gonna be horrible, but we'll see how you do with the casting couch.
Oh, perfect.
And then we'll see if we'll have you back after that.
That's where I redeem myself.
Okay, so Rick Beto, we have no idea. Now, this could be some porn star. That sounds like Beto.
I mean,
Rick Beto.
Rick.
I mean, I'm scared to press it though. Spotify. I love how it's Spotify. It sounds like it's like a, I don't know, like a scam. You know, Spotify.
Yeah, these are such weird.
You have
keywords.
really weird things associated with your band, man. You might want to start fixing
Just says
that.
records, album. I mean, I guess that makes sense. but it's just
Quicksand
weird.
Records, YouTube, tour dates.
Oh, there's a full Spotify.
There's a real one.
Gutter Life blank. So Gutter Life is a band that is on a label that put out our first 2 records, CI Records.
Oh, it is. I always called them Psy Records. I don't know why.
Well, the thing is, you just sigh when you have to deal with stuff. There was another one earlier on the Just Joshin' with you. Two
I know.
solid puns, man.
I know. That's why I need a producer. That's what people don't understand, how hard it is to do these podcasts myself.
Yeah.
I'm recording it. I'm editing it. I'm doing the audio. I'm doing the video. And then during it, I'm trying to produce it and make it sound cool without having to edit more later and like fill in and make it fake.
Yeah.
and like put in stuff after the fact. I try not to do that. Sometimes I can't get the pictures up in time or whatever, so I'll just add those in, but that's about it. But yeah, it's pretty hard to do these things. It's not as easy in editing. Ugh, it takes hours.
You got to get an intern.
I do. So I normally do that, but with school out and stuff like that, and with all the coronavirus, that's the reason I haven't.
Yeah.
So I always have 3. At least I used to with EUM. I would have 3, and I would one that help me with the social media, one that would be production, and one that would be like a producer type of thing, or help me with other stuff. And yeah, they graduated. One went on to real jobs, but at Towson and University of Maryland, I just threw my name out there, gave them the info about the company and stuff like that, and they have me on the list. So whenever they have those classes, which are most degrees, especially if it's business and stuff like that, you need an internship to graduate. Right. It's like required.
Yeah.
So, so I got on one of those lists, and so, yeah, it's been nice because I do, but it only lasts so long.
Right.
Because as soon as they're ready, like, I want to keep, because all of them wanted to keep working, I'm like, I can't pay you. I mean, I can, but it'd be very minimal, and if you want to keep doing this, I always tell them, like, if you want to go get another job and then do this on the side, and then I can pay you something a lot less,
like side hustle money,
right? Side hustle money, but you're still able to, do what, and you can help me build it. Yeah, whatever.
Right.
And then I'll pay you what you deserve to be paid. I'm not stingy when it comes to paying, especially, look, anyone listening that wants to get involved with podcast production or anything, just to put on their resume as well, I'll pay you fine. I'll pay you handsomely. I'm not going to be stingy, but I expect that you're putting out an A+ product that's going to get me more views. That's going to get me, and doing the SEOs and all that stuff. So
right.
if I'm paying you, I'll pay you $100 an episode, but then I expect it to be perfect. Like I want to see it perfect on YouTube. I wanted to see it perfect on that. And yeah, if anyone's willing to do that, I'll pay you.
That's not a bad gig for $100 an episode. Yeah.
I'd do it if I had the skills.
Yeah.
Instead, I don't. I mean, I cringe every time I press upload for YouTube and stuff like that. Okay, let's look at Rick Beto. I feel like we've I feel bad that we've left him out.
We could look at your YouTube and just attack it if you want.
We can. I mean, I can always use help. Rick Beto, I pressed it and nothing. Who's Rick Beto?
Who is Rick? Maybe it's that guy with
this guy right here.
Maybe that's the guy.
You think it is?
No, to the left, blocking Rick Beto. Quatsa.
Reddit. Maybe this guy is like talking shit. Who is Rick? Actually, you know what? Maybe we should do who is Rick Beto.
Oh, there you go. Too long didn't read. YouTube music man Rick Beto broke down No One Knows, but the band blocked it.
Oh.
Yeah, the TLDR, man.
So I've never really...
I don't know what No One Knows is.
Ooh. I don't follow YouTube trends, or I think
Queens of the Stone Age song. I don't know.
So basically, he was doing a review, whatever it's called. He was like
somehow he's associated with us. Maybe he was like, this Queens of the Stone Age song is pretty good, but it's not as good as this band called the Great Heights Band.
That's totally what it was.
Definitely.
And what sucks is I was just about to say it, and you stole my thunder.
Well, there we go.
So yeah, I guess he's a music critic that just sits on YouTube. I don't take YouTube people seriously, like Logan Paul and all that. Like, to me, they look like douchebags.
So people have said the name Logan Paul recently, and I have no idea what that is.
The things that he's been doing, though, his actions, like filming a suit, like the suicide.
What? I don't know who this is or what he's doing. I'm totally...
There's that forest in Japan with the suicide forest, and he was there, and I guess they found a body, and they were like filming it and doing a segment. And I'm like, dude, that's someone's like dead body.
Wait, there's a suicide forest in Japan?
I guess so.
I didn't know that was.
I guess so.
My God, this really took a dark turn.
It really did.
This is what happens when you click on Rick Beto.
Yeah. Well, the point is, Logan Paul, I never liked him, but he has a brother who's just as... I mean, we can look him up real quick just to give you... I guarantee there's a video where it's just like...
I do not want to look up the suicide forest.
I
already feel depressed.
No, yeah, I know. Logan Paul. I mean, look at him.
Oh, I've seen that guy.
Yeah, you know him.
Yeah, I know that
you know
guy.
him. See, this is how I picture him. This one. Like... 14.5 amid scandal.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
14.5.
Yeah, you can make money on YouTube, dude.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
doing all the wrong things.
Okay, well, I can't find, but that's the picture right here. This is how I picture him. Like when I see him, and I'm just like, I'd rather be a nobody and have no money than have
I don't know.
14.5 million.
You wouldn't trade
And look like that.
$14.5 million and just look like that guy?
No. Look at his here. Let me show you his brother. I think that's his brother. Yeah, his
Looks
brother
like the
looks
same
even
guy,
more.
Same guy with a different haircut.
Yeah, but see, look, this is what he really looks like. He's like just a weirdo. Hold on, where did it go?
So what does he talk about? Why is he so famous?
I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't get it.
Okay, well, good for Logan.
Like, if this podcast ever took off and I made that much, I'd be a hypocrite, I guess. But I can't help that people liked it and watched it, and I guess he can't either. But I'm not going around to suicide forests. And
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't go to a suicide forest.
okay, let's get back to YouTube here real quick. YouTube. Oh, the puppies. They're good guard dogs, though. Scared the shit out of the UPS guy the other day. Because he didn't realize that Coda was around the corner. And then he came up to the glass door in the front where you came in.
Yeah.
And Coda just pops around and goes, because he was putting down a package. I saw it on the Ring thing, on our Ring camera. And then Coda just goes, goosh, and like smashes in the glass, scared the crap out of him.
Damn.
It's funny. Okay, Logan Paul. I don't even know if he still has a YouTube. I feel like they took it down. No, he does. He still has 21.9 million subscribers.
Yeah. Just rounded up to 22.
The hardest thing I've ever done. 3 hours ago.
Crazy daily vlogs. Wow, so he's doing it every day.
24-year-old kid in Hollywood making crazy daily vlogs. Yeah. Like, that's what annoys me. Like, people think, like...
So he just does dumb stuff every day?
Yeah,
That's pretty much what he
so...
does?
Well, it just annoys me that, like, people associate this as success and as fame and as whatever.
Well, he made
and it's
15
like...
million bucks. That's not bad.
Yeah, but is money equal to success? Is paper and people, attention? Like, to me, it's less about attention and more about, like... what's the other A word? I forgot. It was a good quote. I can't remember it, but it's
Less
more about what
attention, more about intention. I don't
No,
know, just making it
like,
up. Sounds like
what you've actually already done. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I just and people are, oh, you're just jealous. I'm really not. What it is it just doesn't impress me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not hating. I think it's awesome. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, on the other hand, think it's stupid that we as humans eat this shit up, if that makes sense. That's probably a better way to, like, describe it. And I do, too. I'm just as guilty. Not Logan Paul, but I'm sure there's something else that other people, they're like, can't believe Josh is into that. Like wrestling or something like that. Like, you invest time into wrestling? Like, it's fake, isn't it? I'm like, well, so is all the shows you watch on TV.
Yeah.
But at least in this one, I think what I'm invested in is the wrestler, like the real life wrestler, not the character they're playing.
Yeah.
Because I see how hard it is. And I always like watching the behind the scenes shit where they're getting the crap kicked out of each other. There's this one where he was running and he did like a back gainer off the top of the thing onto the cement. And, they're supposed to kind of catch him and make the fall less hard. The guy totally didn't even know. And he just goes, bam,
Yikes.
straight on the cement. And that stuff happens all the time. So I'm like, damn.
Yeah, you like the journey, which is probably why you like working with bands and musicians and stuff.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's the whole thing. It's like,
That's cool, man. Yeah, no,
I hate attention. I hate people that, like, attention seekers.
I literally, I've heard the name Logan Paul. I just have never known who or what he really was. And this conversation.
He's like a Kardashian. I guess the best way. The Kardashians are the ones that started this whole trend of being famous for
being
famous.
Famous for the sake of being famous.
Yeah, and then the same with YouTube and all that stuff, and it's great, but it's just like, to me, it's watered down. Like, you're not special.
Right.
And especially when it comes to, like, the amateur ones that I see on Instagram that have like 60,000 followers and they think they're hot shit. Those are, like, worse than the ones that have millions of followers. Like, the ones that have, like, 30,000, 40,000 followers and think they're, like, hot shit. Oh, my God.
None of that stuff.
This one girl keeps popping up. What I hate about my Instagram timeline is supposed to give you things that you want based on what you're searching. So I have pit bulls and I love dogs and stuff. So you would think it would be cute, cuddly pit bulls. Instead, it's like people selling these huge steroided out pit bulls. This one guy was like posting his number and he has a video of this huge pit bull just going to town on this tiny female pit bull, and I'm just like, I don't want to see this. Like, this is disturbing. This is not what I want. And my sister does like triathlon, so it's like now I'm seeing all these triathlon things. I'm like, I'm just seeing girls in like wetsuits or girls holding up fishing like fishes and bikinis. I'm like, okay, we get it. You fish. You're so manly. You're so cool. You're so like, American. Good for you. Salt life. Like, it's just, and that's all I see is like regurgitated shit online.
Maybe you should be searching for other things.
Well, but that's the thing. I search for things that should be that way. And my point of this is that it's like when you ask for a wish from a genie and you think you're getting, and he takes it literally and then gives you the wrong. That's what my timeline is like.
That's funny. That's funny. I've been getting a lot of the you can get a portrait of your dog things on Instagram. Have you seen that?
I mean, that's better than
it's really
what I'm
adorable.
getting.
It's really adorable.
Oh, it's a way to rub it in. So
mine's
congratulations,
actually,
you're getting good stuff.
They've curated mine pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it.
That's cool. Well, yeah, so we haven't really talked. I mean, we've talked, but we haven't, I guess the last time I saw you was at the show right before all the coronavirus.
Yeah, I think that show was like literally the day before or 2 days before things shut down, right?
Was that after I got back? It was, right? I got back from 311 Day?
I think so. I don't ever.
Or was that before? Yeah, it was right after, because I think it was that same day I flew back and I was dead tired and I still came up.
Yeah, man. Thanks
got
for
pretty
coming.
drunk.
I
Well, thanks for having me.
I think that was maybe 2 days before things really got shut down in the great state of Maryland, because we played that show, and then I believe we played in Washington D.C. the next day, and I believe that was literally the last night things would be open. And I remember DC at the time had like a max cap of like only like 100 people could gather or something, which now sounds amazing.
Right. Oh, yeah.
At the time, I was like, this is weird. Like a rock and roll show, only like 100 people can show up. Weird. Yeah, man. So, yeah, we've been on lockdown for a while. Now it's almost the end of June. It's the end of June.
Yeah.
So, what? March?
Time flew. March, April, May, June.
It's been like 3 months.
It definitely flew by. And what sucks again is that on one hand, it was a blessing in disguise because I got a lot of stuff that I really needed to get done. And but at the same time, it's like there's no new normal now, meaning I can't go back into touring anytime soon. I literally have to go use my degrees now, and once there's a vaccine, I feel more comfortable going out and risking having a job.
Yeah,
that's worth the money, where I'm going to have health insurance and stuff like that. I'm not gonna. It's not worth it. Like, I'm not gonna go work at Wawa for $300 a week or something, or whatever it would be.
Yeah, it's not worth.
It's not worth that.
But,
and I have plenty of money saved up, and I'm smart with my money. But
the upside is that like everyone's working remotely.
Oh,
and other than like super essential people, and so I think there's proof in the pudding in terms of like you can work remotely and still be productive. And in terms of a new normal, it's kind of hard to argue with the ability to work remotely, which I think for people like you and me who travel a lot, tour, etc., that actually is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, no, the management side, like as far as me and EUM, no worries. It's fine. It's perfect. I got a great setup and stuff, but I still need to bring in income. And even if I was working with band, they're not going to be paying me. Right. I wouldn't take money from them right now.
Right.
Actually, if there's any bands that are looking for management, now would probably be the perfect time because I'm free. Because even if you were bringing in income and doing steady stuff until we knew more, I probably wouldn't take any money from you, just because I don't think that really does anyone any good.
The thing bands should be doing right now is just creating, just making stuff.
You would think so, and I see a lot of people doing stuff where I'm like, I don't know. And it's sad that a lot of bands, it took this for them to actually do an okay job with their social media. So I'm glad you got to come in studio.
Yeah, man. This place is pretty awesome.
Thank you. So, what's funny, I had to warn my guests when we first started to come in, and I started to fix it up, because every guest would spend an hour talking about the studio. and then they're like, okay, I don't have any time. I'll see you later. And then I'm like, wait. I'm like, bro, I'm going to have like 5 episodes of people just complimenting the studio. And it is fun and it is nice, but like, it needs to be done. It needs to be done. I still need to finish it up, but I'm glad you got to come in here. It's a lot better than Zoom, because Zoom, it cuts people off. Like you basically have to speak one at a time, or it won't catch everything. So that makes it difficult with the delay.
Well, and there's also just no replacing like in-person
Yeah.
human interaction.
Yeah.
You know? Which I've missed desperately anyways. Yeah. So like I gave you a hug when we came in.
I know.
And I was like, all right, I may not take that job down the road, but like I will definitely risk it to give you a hug. So,
yeah. Well, I was surprised. I let the guests be as comfortable as they want to be. So I know I'm comfortable. It's my house. I know I've been safe. Obviously, over there we have the Clorox wipes, hand sanitizer, everything you would need.
Well, I'm taking off my pants. So
that's it. We're still 6 feet apart, though. That's the difference. We can still do casting couch, just 6 feet apart.
Pants are off. So
yeah. I don't care how big you are, how small you are. Go ahead and make sure you do everything properly as far as taxes go and registering your company. If you're an LLC or however you register it, make sure you go spend the money up front and get it done, because I'm a small company. We've only been around since, I guess it's 4 years now. It would be about 4 years. I want to say 2017, 2016, so maybe 3 years. But I guess going on 4 in 2021. But so obviously, starting a company, you're not making money. You're spending money. You're just spending, trying to get everything up to where it needs to be. And even though I didn't make a ton of money or any at all, obviously, I think last year I went like $7,000 in debt, which actually isn't that bad. That's pretty good compared to what I've normally spent. And so with all the pandemic, I applied for the SBA loan and I got it. And I wouldn't have gotten it if I didn't do all that stuff correctly and legitimately. So obviously I'm not going to get like, $20,000 or anything like that, or 100, whatever those big companies are getting. But I got a nice chunk of change that pretty much put me back right on sea level. So actually doing that will save you money in the long run.
Well, I mean, a band is at the end of the day, a band is a business.
It is.
If you're playing shows, if you're creating music and you're putting it out there, you're generating revenue. You're a business. You're still a band, and it's supposed to be fun. But that doesn't mean you should cut corners and not get your stuff squared away.
It's funny, and I hear the excuse, well, I'm not a business guy. Right? I'm like, hey, you don't have to be a business guy to know and to prioritize what you're trying to do as a band, as an artist, the correct way.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, spend the money now. You don't want to spend money. Like I see, and it goes both ways, because I see people that shouldn't be spending a ton of money because they're not quite there yet, spending all this money, and then it doesn't do them any good because their product's still bad. So you still have to be smart. You still have to be realistic with where you are. Obviously, everything with George Floyd and just the climate of our country. I didn't want to put out a podcast that was fake.
Yeah.
But I also did. If I did, it would have been all doom and gloom, because that's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling, anger that stuff that should have been handled years ago continues to go, and I'm not even black, and I don't, and I think, and obviously I don't think you have to be black to say I support them. And that's why I hate sometimes they kind of twist it and say, well, if you're not in their shoes, you don't know. And you're right. I won't fully know to the extent what it feels like to be a black man. But that doesn't mean I can't have sympathy. And it doesn't mean I haven't experienced racism being Asian in my own right. And as I'm sure you have as well, to where maybe it's not systemic, but it doesn't mean we don't feel it. And it doesn't mean we haven't had similar situations happen to us to feel sympathetic. That it happens to them all the time, totally. And even to a more extreme.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's baked into society. It's an underlying disease, and much like the coronavirus, and it's one of those things that we're all finally addressing, and it's going to take a lot of work.
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and if you look at history over the course of centuries, the United States is really an experiment relative to bringing together a bunch of different people that don't look alike at all. A lot of countries around the world, people look pretty homogenous.
Yep.
Whereas here it's really different. And so we're still figuring it out, but
we failed it so far.
We're not doing awesome. I mean, so here's the thing. we're coexisting in a sense that, like, I came to your neighborhood just now and I saw people of all backgrounds.
It's very diverse here.
You know, kids riding black kids riding their bike, white kids riding their bike, whatever. And so that's kind of cool. That being said, we have a long ways to go. I think that it's been completely hidden and masked in a really disgusting way, especially when there's like, you know, literally laws that are racist that are meant to prop up certain groups and keep down certain groups.
Yep.
And so, you know, there's a litany of issues that black people have to deal with that I don't have to deal with, being an Indian guy. But there's a litany of issues that I have to deal with that white people don't have to deal with. And vice
or
versa.
even some black people.
And even some black people. And then there's underlying socioeconomic issues, and it just goes on and on. But the bottom line is that I think we're finally talking in a way that allows people to be, in your word, you use the word, sympathetic and really listen.
Yeah.
And that's super important.
Yeah, I think Asians, we deal with a different type because it's just ignorant racism that people will give us, like calling me a chink or whatever.
So for people that don't know me, I'm Indian, and my family emigrated to the United States.
That's funny. I was always afraid to ask you because I thought you were Indian because I thought I knew that, but then I didn't want to be like, oh, you're Indian, and then you get offended. You're like, I'm not Indian, dude. I'm whatever, and I'm like,
well,
oh,
I'm kind of like ambiguous too, but like, you know, I get a bunch of things. But bottom line, I'm Indian, my dad's side of the family emigrated to the States when it was in the 60s, which is. Which honestly, we benefited from the Civil Rights Act. What was that, 1966 or 67? No, it's 65. Anyways, that's when we came. And it was just a completely different situation. 1960s versus literally being brought here on a slave ship 400 years ago to do labor. And Asians in particular, especially East Asians, you know, I'm no like expert on this, but you guys weren't taken over by major empires the same way that Africa and India.
We definitely don't feel the same racism that black people do. I think it's pretty evident that I told the story where I've been pulled over and it's been clear that I was smoking weed because the joint was still on the floor. And I have just for people that don't have context, I have a medical card for my back. So this is all legal to probably not smoking in my car, but anyway, but still it's me having it is not illegal. And again, it's for my back and he pulled me over. And I know in any other situation, if I was black, I would have been in jail, handcuffed.
Your back would be
worse.
Feeling way worse.
Yeah.
Your back would be much worse.
Yeah. So, and so speaking of weed and stuff like that, this racism even extends into, you know, the prison system, marijuana, all that stuff. It's funny. I was doing the research. I was doing my research for the marijuana episode I'm doing.
Oh, wow.
And it's crazy how. So John Boehner, just real quick, John Boehner, you know John Boehner, right? So he was completely against marijuana.
Former Speaker of the House,
yes.
right?
Yep. That John Boehner. So he fought for years to like keep marijuana illegal because he was making so much money off the private prison system by putting black people into jail for petty marijuana charges.
I didn't know he was making money off of that.
Yeah. But then now, 5 years later, since everything's legal, he and this other company bought up like 100 or 200 marijuana licenses. So even though he can't use them all at the same time, he buys them all up so that other people, other like small business or people that want to start a local grower have to go to him and buy the license. So he sold that company for like $2 billion.
Wow.
Which held all the licenses. So he made $300 million off of nothing, off of doing nothing. And that's why he's all for it. But it's funny, he's all for it now when the first place he was using it to discriminate against black people to make money. Now they're also discriminating in the marijuana business, meaning all the people that had like that he put in jail for those petty crimes can never get a job.
Right.
You know, it's going to be harder for them to get a job with a marijuana, you know, or being in jail even. So
well, it's also a big issue with who's getting the licenses to grow and distribute. And
right. So 81% of the people that own dispensaries, And these are supposed to be, I forget what it's called, where they have to grow it and then sell it and do all the stuff, all the steps. I forget what the word for it off the top of my head is. But you have to, not integrate, vertical integration, yeah. So you have to do that in order to have a license. So people like you or me that might have enough to open the store, but then we don't have enough to grow it and then to do all the other stuff that's involved with getting it to the final
So it requires
stages.
a lot of capital.
Right. So 81% of all dispensaries are owned by white males. 81%.
Yeah.
4.3. So the rest of the 20%, 4.3 of them are black African Americans.
And those are
That's
the
it.
people that have been
Of all the dispensaries in the United States.
and they've been discriminated the most against during the war on drugs. And all
Yes,
that stuff.
and then they're still being discriminated now when
Yeah,
it's coming to that.
it's bullshit.
And it's just crazy, man. It's
bullshit.
just 100. It's just really crazy.
It's not even crazy, man. It's bullshit.
No, yeah, it's
It's like it's by design, and that's the problem that we've been talking about was systemic racism, and that's just one facet of it.
Well, here's the
That's just one
problem. I think
industry.
we all know now. So now that we're all aware and things are up into the point where we're past the that we know this is an issue. How are we going to change it? Because I don't think it is going to change because it's still a two-party system. It's always going to be about politics instead of morals. You know, we're never going to get to the point where it's just like, okay, this is right and wrong. We need to change some of these laws to update them to current America. I get we're never going to get rid of racist people or people are going to feel how they're going to feel, but a lot of us will say that and then it just disappears. Like in a year, are we still going to be talking about George Floyd? And yes, I do think so because I can see the difference. But again, we need to start taking steps. And for me personally, and you can speak to this, we need to start doing it on the local level. And I know people have been saying this for years, but then no one ever does it. No one ever goes out and votes for literally the local legislators, the ones that put your police officers and police chiefs in charge and stuff like that. And that's so important to me right now. And there's also, again, it's a two-party system. I'm scared that it's so systemic and it's so ingrained in our society and culture that it's almost we can't change it unless something drastic, which is what has been going on with all the different protests and stuff like that. But, you know, is there going to be actual change? I'm just scared that it's going to be the same old, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's totally fair, right? I mean, we've been in a like an abusive relationship for several years, and so we're trying to like sort out how to deal with that abusive partner, and that partner being the government, and you know, the government is made up of people, right? And so ultimately, you're totally right. It's like who's representing us, and are those representatives actually representative of the community, or are they representative of the corporations and, you know, deep pockets? That's a big question. There's also several issues relative to voting and A, people going out to vote, but B, the system making it difficult for certain groups to vote. If certain groups are going to vote certain ways. So there's a lot there. I mean, I'm with you. I think it's going to be a long, drawn-out fight. I also think that it's important to keep your eye on the prize. Like the George Floyd police brutality stuff is incredibly important, but that's just one of many things that are really, really important. And in terms of like giving people equal opportunity to success, you got to look at taxes, the economy, all that stuff that provides the means for people to get ahead. I mean, right now the game is stacked towards old white guys by design. So, you know, I've been out there protesting and doing things with everything going on the George Floyd front, but we all collectively, especially our generation and younger, just have to continue to be engaged and push.
Yeah, I saw that. Did you guys go out in DC?
Yep.
You and Paul and everyone?
Yep.
Should have hit me up. I would have come.
Yeah. Next time, man.
I wanted to go to Trey's thing tonight for Atlas Group.
Oh yeah.
I've dealt with those guys firsthand, and they are some scumbag. This was like 8 years ago. You know?
But you know what? It was 8 years ago, and it still sticks with you, right? Because
it stuck with me because I didn't think twice about it then, but now that all the stuff is coming out and it's been shown that they were, you know, extremely prejudiced and racist, now I see that I wasn't crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I thought maybe I was just making a big deal about it.
Well,
at the
that's
time
being called what is that, gaslighting?
But after the third time of me going down there for an interview that never happened, it's just I'm like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah,
you
no,
know, like
fuck that.
Like if you can't within 3 different times, you can't just take 30 minutes to interview me, whether or not you planned on hiring me. But again, it's not even that. It's just I see how the restaurants are run. I've been in there, and I know people that have worked there too. I mean, it's no secret they have dress codes for a reason. You know?
Oh yeah, they want to keep people out.
Greek people can be racist too.
Yeah.
You know, Greek people think that Greek people are the shit.
Everyone can be racist.
Yeah.
Even Indian people
yeah.
can be racist, man. I mean, like,
I get that at some gas station. To be honest, they treat me like shit. I don't know why that Exxon over there.
Well, like, do you know? Are you familiar with Hassan Minhaj?
Yeah, I watch it all the time. I thought you guys were friends.
Yeah, we're good buds. He's actually my second cousin.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So people are like, "You look a lot like that guy," and I'm like, "I'm just a brown guy with a beard." That's pretty much all you're seeing. But he had a really great special the other day of, like South Asian people being involved in everything that's going on right now with racism and all that. And his message was basically like, it's great that we're stepping up, it's great that we're doing things, but like, let's not fucking fool ourselves. Behind the scenes, our family says, black people are great, but don't date one. And like just shit like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's so right. And it's just I think it's like a problem with the older generation for sure. I'm
adopted, so my parents are white and they don't care who I marry.
Yeah, but like in my culture, it's definitely was an issue.
Well,
not so much anymore.
No, but of course, like if I had Asian parents, damn right they'd want me to marry an Asian.
I mean, my
woman,
grandparents were definitely far more conservative with that. Mm-hmm. My parents are cool, but like it took time, and now I'm, I don't give a shit. But
my dad's the rebel of the family. He married a non-Jew. He was like, and my mom
too.
She
married a Catholic?
Yeah, and my mom
always married Catholics. What's up with that?
And then my mom's Catholic, and she was a rebel and married a Jew, a Jewish person. I shouldn't say Jew. That sounds so horrible.
Yeah, well, So
I love having that Jewish heritage in my background though, which I think is pretty cool.
So I think racism is bad. We can all agree on that,
right?
But I think it's fun to still like have the racist jokes here and there. For like, posterity's sake.
I don't mind them.
As long as it's not coming from like a mean place and like you have mutual respect and all that stuff. To a limit for obvious reasons.
I do think people are too PC.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like
being too PC annoys me just as much as someone being blatantly racist.
So for example, I was hanging out with some friends this past weekend in Deep Creek Lake, and I'm really into meditation, spirituality and stuff like that, as is a lot of other people. But they're like, oh, like how'd you get involved, and like how many times did you do that thing? And I was like, well, I am Indian. And then everybody laughed because it's funny. Yeah. But that's one of those.
Like, I do the Asian joke here and there.
Yeah, I mean that's a stereotype that's sort of like it's meant to be in good fun. And, but like there's like really messed up stuff that's racist that you don't want to do. The only racism I have dealt with has been primarily from white people. I don't think I've ever dealt with a racist black person. Not that they don't exist, but it was like probably 95% of my encounters have been with white people. But
I've had my share of white people, but for some reason, black people are the ones that always say chink and stuff.
But interesting,
they're like, Bruce Lee, you chink? What? Like, and it's black females that are vicious, dude. Like, I'll be walking down the street. Is
really cool. By the way.
Did you see the documentary? It was fucking dope.
No, I need to.
But yeah, it's always black females that are like saying some shit to me. Like, I'm like, why? I didn't even do anything to you. I'm not even looking at you. I didn't even give you a nasty look. Like,
I don't know.
I'm just Asian, I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of a terrible insult.
And I would love to, and I want to have little Tiger Woods babies. So if there's any black females out there that, want to have some kids, have some
that
cute kids, little Tyrese, that are good at sports and smart, hit me up. I don't discriminate.
Cool. You should put your number up here. Boop.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't even like having it for the company, but I do because it's the only one I have right now. And I want to make sure people can contact me if they need to, but I need to do something about that.
Yeah. But you know what, man? Like, these are really hard conversations, and it's like people are kind of all over the spectrum map as far as like their understanding, their experience, all that stuff.
I think in real life, most people are down the middle. I think most people are level-headed and understand what's right and wrong. The problem is that I think we're in our society, we're so ingrained in social media that we take social media as real life. But social media really is just a web of extremes. You know, it's always extremes on the internet.
Well, it's there. I mean, like Facebook and all those platforms, they're trying to keep you on their platform. So they're going to have the most extreme stuff.
I think that Zuckerberg and them do have a responsibility, and I know it's all about money. I mean, that's the whole thing with, that's why instead of having 300 likes like you used to before and everyone being able to see your post, it's gotten down to where you might only have 30 likes or 60 likes on a post, because that's how the algorithms work. And I always tell people they make it seem like they're going to put it out there like, hey, we've created these algorithms so you don't see all that bullshit you don't want to see. And then, you know, we're specifying it to what you want. But really what they're doing is monetizing everything. So now if you really want to get your posts for companies out there, you have to spend the money. And it's not just like even if you only spend $100 a week, you're not going to get anywhere. Like, you need to be spending tens of thousands of dollars to get reach on Facebook, because you're competing with other people that are paying the same amount as money as you. So the more you're paying, the less people you're competing with, and then you're also getting, you know, more airtime and whatnot. But, you know, it just sucks because, again, it's a two-party system and everything's based around money. You know, that's really what it comes down to. And it's so silly to me. It's paper.
Yeah, it's literally this thing we just made up.
We made it up. It has no value. And if people really, it's weird to me because people are greedy in the short term, because our lives are short in the grand scheme of things. We're like a speck.
They're pretty insignificant.
Yes. So it's funny. So that's why people have this me now mentality. But if you really wanted to be greedy, you would be trying to save the earth and try and build up as many resources as possible so we can last. But it's the opposite thinking, because we're like, well, I'm not going to be here, so I don't care about the next generation, so I'm just going to do whatever I want now. And again, we need to get away from the prioritizing of materialistic things. Now, I sound like a hypocrite because we just got done talking about how nice the equipment was and all the stuff I'm doing. But
that's different because you're passionate about this stuff,
yeah,
right. Like, you know, that's a different sort of thing. It's more that our society is built on this expectation that you should make as much money as you possibly can so that you can get more stuff, like acquire more things. But most of those things don't really matter. No, you know, of the 100% of things you have, like maybe 10% is stuff you actually need.
Right.
And I think, you know, the 5% is stuff you're really, really passionate about, which means there's just so much shit you just don't need.
Yeah. And I think that also goes back to what we were talking about before, is that like success is not about attention. It's about like, that's what I started to say before. I keep blanking on the word, but I heard this quote before, and it's like, it's not attention, it's something else. It's like achievements. It's like, what have you achieved, not what attention have you gotten, or something like that. But it just goes back to, it's about what you're accomplishing and doing, and are you a good person, not how much money you have and how many people like you. Because again, to me, that just looks like, I have no desire to be famous.
Right.
I would love to be an actor or be a host or do stuff like this on a national level, but you know,
that's because you just like doing the thing.
Right. Exactly. It's not right.
Situation.
Exactly. And I hate when people tell me like, oh, well, if you won the lottery, you'd totally be different. I'm like, I don't think so. I'd still drive Jeeps. They might be hooked up now, but I would still drive a Jeep. I'd still try and adopt and help as many dogs as possible. I'd give back. If I had endless amounts of money where I literally didn't have to worry about money, my kids didn't have to worry about money, my grandkids, I guarantee that 60%, if not more, would honestly go back into charities and other things like that and philanthropy. Because if I didn't have to worry about myself, the thing that gives me the most pleasure in life is that mentoring and is that giving back and trying to make a difference, you know, whether it be with bands that are starting out or whatever the case.
Totally. Relationships matter. And that's what I'm super passionate about personally, is relationships.
Yeah.
And like the people I know and people I can support and vice versa. Of course, I want support too, because I'm a human being that breathes and sleeps and eats.
To me, it's pretty simple just to be a moral, decent human being. You don't have to agree and you have to do, you know, you don't have to like someone, but I can still, you don't always have to go out of your way to make, you know, try and make someone else's life harder when life is already hard, you know?
Yeah.
It's weird to me. Humans are weird people.
Yeah. I mean, my
That's why aliens don't fuck with us, man. It's not even that like they're not there and that they don't want to initially, but they're just like, dude, humans, it's like a waste of time.
Yeah.
To us, we're like lower than ants to them.
Right.
Because they like, remember those old ancient civilizations? They were way more advanced than humans now, and they have half the stuff that they have. But at least ancient civilizations got to like transport from like planet to planet and could go from one side of the earth to the other in a second and move big blocks.
The biggest blocks. Yeah, I mean, I think the key is just to like, personally, I just try to be nice to everyone, and it's really simple. But like, I just try to not be an asshole and just be like straightforward.
I don't know. Everyone always tells me you're such an asshole, though.
Well, totally failing at this.
I've heard that from multiple people.
Oh well, here we go.
It's never happened. Maybe Paul said something, but
well, Paul's an asshole.
Yeah. No, I'm only kidding. I love
no,
Paul.
Paul and I go way back. I love that man.
He's like a much more muscular version of me.
Yeah, he's more muscly than you.
Dude, his arm is like twice the size of my legs. I got little chicken legs now.
Yeah.
When I was younger and I played sports and I was an actual good athlete, I had these thunder thighs and then I had a small waist. Like not like towards the end of high school, I was smoking and drinking, so like I gained weight and then I lost it all in college. But when I was real young and then up until like freshman and sophomore year, I was always super athletic. But then I always thought it was weird that I had these huge, thunder thighs and I was really skinny and then I was broad up top when I was younger. And now that I'm older, I'm like, wait, I was perfect. That's how I was supposed to be. Now that I'm older, I'm like, I got these little chicken legs. I'm like top heavy.
You skipped leg day.
Yeah. I mean, I do most of it. I don't want to make up excuses because I can certainly put in more work and everyone always can do different things. But it is because of my back. That's a big reason though too, is I can't do a lot of the heavy lifting on my lower back and with my legs that I'd like to. I'm restricted to certain things, but that's no excuse. I'm sure there's other things. I'm always looking for different things, but physical therapy only lasts so long that you can get it. And then my other option is either surgery, which I'm trying to avoid as long as if I can bear it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. And I was getting the cortisone shots because it got to the point where my leg actually went like kind of numb, or there was like this stabbing pain like constantly. And it hurt so bad. I remember I was like tearing up trying to get out of bed one morning. I like could not get out of bed because it's like it's just hitting my nerve.
Yeah,
it's just putting pressure on my nerve. And so I finally got the cortisone shot, but those things are tricky too because you can only get a certain amount of them within a time period because it's a steroid, and it's not always 100% that it works. So the first time, it made it feel better for a little bit for like a day, but it was still numb. And then the pain came right back. So then I had to get a second one, but I had to wait a month. So then I did it then. And she like completely missed the spot or something like that. And I was like, well, okay, great. You just ruined my second chance. So the third time I went in there like a month later again, it was hit or miss. Like if I didn't hit this, I was screwed because I couldn't go to physical therapy. It was just, my pain was so bad. I basically had to either deal with it or get surgery. And the third time, I guess she hit it right on the nail because it's been a year and a half, almost 2 years, and I haven't come close to that pain yet. I mean, it's definitely sore on days. The other week, I had a sore day where it was pretty sore. But yeah, that's a big reason why my health, like my fitness, isn't as where I would want it to be, because it does take a little bit more to get to that point where everything's good, and then maintaining it is hard. Just because I'm so busy and stuff like that. And for a while. But now that I'm home and I'm trying to find a job where I can and be more, like if it was a good touring gig, I would take it. If I was getting like $2,000 a week to do a job, I would take that and tour. But unless it has like insurance, like health insurance and stuff like that, I'm not interested.
Right. And no one's touring now anyways.
No one's touring. And it's even hard to find real jobs. Yeah, I don't know. Some of the jobs I've been seeing are boring, and I would like to kind of keep it within the music scene. So even if I'm doing business, marketing, branding, or anything like that, I would still like to be within music to keep, doing what I'm doing. But I'm not opposed to going and getting an engineering job or doing something else that falls in line with some of my degrees that I can, make money, because it's a means to an end. There's nothing wrong with having a job. If anything, I think you'd be foolish if you didn't also take a job to support yourself, to put more money into what you want to do. To me, I think it's counteractive. Just say, "Oh, I'm just an artist. I'm too good to be having a day job."
Yeah, unless you're creating all the time.
Yeah, but
which a lot of people don't do.
No.
Yeah.
Most of them aren't.
Right.
Most of them are living that fantasy bright lights, or even the ones that don't care about the bright lights. They still kind of have that naive musician mentality, you know?
Yeah.
Those days are over, you know?
There's just too many really talented people to like sort of skate and do nothing.
Wow, I did the first number one rule, not breathe into the microphone. But I sighed when you said that, because half the most talented people are never going to see the light of day.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a fact.
That's why I love going to the small clubs, and some of my favorite artists are the local artists like Joey Harcum and even Kat and some of the other people are great local artists that I think have so much talent and could easily be in the spotlight if they wanted to.
A buddy of mine actually yesterday about all this stuff, because he was like, well, so first, quick plug, the Great Heights Band put out a new song called
Can we play it or no?
Yeah, we can play it. It's called Bully with a Bat. And a buddy of mine I met
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but real quick, did you write that really recently and then just put it out quickly?
Yeah, we wrote it I
wrote it within the last month?
Well, no, we wrote it 2 weeks ago.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And then
brand new.
So I wrote it 2 weeks ago after coming back from a protest. And then a week later, we got together in the studio and we rewrote it. And I was talking to my buddy about this yesterday, and he was like, yeah, the new song's great, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, thanks, man. And he's like, yeah, it's just like straightforward rock with like guitars. But like kids these days, they don't even know what guitars are. And like, and we're talking about it, and I'm like, I think the pandemic is actually going to be a good thing for punk rock and rock music generally, because people are going to miss going to shows. And I think in the next year or whenever we're able to like perform again, people are going to be really excited to see it in a way that we haven't seen in many, many years. So I think a lot of it's going to be making a massive comeback.
Well, I think music also goes in cycles too, and with the climate, so that's why Rage is starting to come back and different bands like that. And I think that kind of punk angsty and rock feeling is going to start coming back, and then eventually pop's going to start coming back.
Yep.
Then EDM and electronic and country and different things. So I think it goes in cycles, and I've been waiting for years. And what's been funny is I've been preaching to bands, if you like heavier music or if you're a rock band, now's the time to start honing your craft, because I guarantee if you can put together some good content and a good product come, the 2020s, I think are going to be big in the rock and metal and rock scene and stuff like that. And stuff that, again, the climate of just our society in general, rap, I think rap's going to make a comeback where it's less the mumble rap and hopefully more of the Nas and Common and Technique and stuff like that. Those kind of rappers that told a story and told,
I think now's the time of protest music. I think it's really coming back. And, Tribe and Talib and like all those great hip hop artists.
Love Talib.
And then, great punk rock, like, Bad Religion and shit like that. That was like really saying something.
I just want to start a punk rock band, an old guy punk rock band,
Yeah, it's called the Great Heights Band. I think the songs are really, really good. We spent time on it, making them really good, as far as how they're written, what the arrangements are, how they're produced and engineered. And we really take our time with the art and the presentation and all that stuff. And that's what I mean by putting yourself in position to have good luck. We make the product, which is a great song with great art, with a great message, as good as we can. And then we hope for the best. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Can we play it real quick? Is that all right? Do you mind?
Yeah.
It's probably going to get flagged, but that's okay. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but we'll get a feel for it.
Yeah, that's cool. Vodka, I've done the same thing. Try a little bit of lime in there.
You guys just got a classic, like, great pop punk sound.
Thank you.
I mean, it's very consistent and very, like, I know it's you. I mean, I feel like if you guys were doing this back in the 90s, like, you would have made it.
Thanks, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like I should say the 2000s, but you know what I mean? Like, you guys totally would have been a great band. I mean, you still are. It just sucks that that's not what's current, like, to kids. Because back then, rock, punk, that was what kids were into. The 90s and the 2000s, you know, Story of the Year, the emo, the metalcore, and the pop and the rock, like, that was what kids were into.
Yeah, and we were those kids at the time, which is why we were writing those songs. But, like,
yeah, true.
You know, when we look at our data, when we look at, like, our back end data, we're seeing more younger people getting into it, like, more recently.
Yeah.
Than ever before. Like, it was tracking more like early 20s, mid 20s, early 30s type of people, but we're seeing way more under 18.
What do you think that's also due to? We talk about cycles in music, but cycles in fashion and different things, how a lot of the stuff from the 90s are starting to become popular to kids now. Like, you're seeing all the Metallica and I'm like, it's weird because, like, that's just what I wore as a kid.
Yeah, man.
Anyway,
it's super weird.
And I still have a lot of those tees that are probably worth a lot of money now. Like, you could probably sell a used original Nirvana tee or something for like, I don't know, at least a couple $100, you know, or like $160, you know,
it's crazy.
To rich people would buy it, and then they'd cut holes in it and wear it and be like, this
well,
is
if
fashion.
you cut holes in it first, it'll be worth even more money.
I know.
But
what sucks is I lost a lot of those original shirts. Like, I have some of them framed from like the 90s and 2000s. That's what a lot of these are. I tried to keep it from like 95 to 2005. You know, it's pretty much all the bands I have on there.
Yeah, I remember that Incubus art from, it's like the Crow Left of the Murderer or something, whatever it was called.
That was 2004.
Yeah, I was I wrote for my school newspaper of all things, and I had an editorial column, and I did a review of that record. Good record.
Yeah.
Weird production, but good record.
Yeah, no, it was. No, this is good times, man.
Yeah,
I miss I'm very lucky. My dad took me to a lot of good concerts when I was younger. I was very lucky. I was very lucky that not only did he allow me to be different, and I shouldn't even say that, he like encouraged me to be different, you know, and pursue music, and that's why I have such a passion for it. It's my dad. I mean, he's doing like Zoom concerts for like retirement homes and stuff like that. Really cool. Like he's the epitome of like what music is and why he doesn't like. I just see the passion, how much he loves it. And that's really what gives me the passion to want to help other people to achieve the dream that he still pursues to this day, you know?
Yeah.
And for him, it's never been about money. He does all this stuff for free. Now, I always encourage him, like, at least, like, if you're driving to Frederick to do one of these concerts, like, just have him pay for your gas and, like, give you some money for lunch or something, you know?
Right.
Yeah, but he just loves it. He doesn't care about the money or anything.
Well,
like
he's a relationship guy. He cares about like making people feel good, and that's awesome. That's what matters.
Well, thanks for coming in, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Do you have anything you would like to represent before you get out of here?
Of course. So first of all, thanks for having me.
I hope you had fun.
I'm happy to finally get to see the place and spend some time here. I'm glad.
It's about time. I was thinking you didn't like me for a while.
No, I mean, I still don't like you. I'm just tolerating you. But yeah, no, it's dope. I think more people should check it out. And it's just, you know, an honor to be here. So thank you. I run a label called rad-pop Records. We put out some really awesome albums already from bands like One Life to Lead, which I believe you have Trey in here. So One Life to Lead put out an awesome record last year. Taller Tales put out a great record called Calorama.
Is that one single I really like? I feel like it's a big single for them, or one of their main singles.
Is it Lay Down and Die? I don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
There's
that was very vague and very yeah.
Yeah, that whole album's
I didn't really give you much to go on there.
Yeah. I mean, I can name most of their songs probably. Yeah. Let's see what else we put out. We put out the new Great Heights Band record, of course, that came out in April. And we're putting out a really awesome punk rock album in August called by the Stifled. And they have a new single coming out July 3rd. So check that out. And there's a lot of really exciting stuff going on behind the scenes that I can't really talk about yet, but
tease.
Yeah, I'm just teasing. So keep up with rad-pop, and of course check out the Great Heights Band, and you know, support your friends.
Okay, man. Well, have a safe drive. Stay safe. Thank you so much for taking the time and being safe and coming in, because I know it is crazy out there. So
Yeah, I appreciate
anytime someone's willing to come in and be safe and stuff too, it always makes it better. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you upping the quality of the podcast.
Hell yeah, man.
So drive safe, and we'll talk soon.
All right, thanks, brother.